What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. Today we're going to talk all about body fat. I'm going to help you to learn how to accurately measure your body fat, whether you're going to use maybe the more expensive route or go the more economical route. Either way, you got to know how to measure and where to measure in order to get the right number. And the key is you should be focusing on that number. You don't want to be focusing on the scale and your body weight because it's not going to tell you the complete picture. The more accurate picture is going to be revealed when you can figure out what your own body fat level is and try to maximize your lean muscle mass while diminishing your levels of body fat. You see, that's, I think, what we specialize here at ATHLEAN-X. ATHLEAN-X is all about creating bodies that are maximal muscle, natural muscle gains while minimizing body fat. So you can have that athletic and lean look. Now, the more expensive route, okay? You guys have probably seen a Skindex before or body fat calipers. These are good. These are more on the expensive end. These will cost you about $350 to $400. However, they're really an important tool, again, if you're talking about how much you're going to rely on them to dictate your progress. Again, as opposed to how many times people will buy new scales and continue to jump on their scales. So when you're a man, what you want to do is you want to measure in 3 places, okay? Your first location is going to be your chest, okay? And from here, what you want to do is you want to divide the line right here down the middle of the nipple and over here onto the corner of your shoulder. So somewhere right in between, which would be right here, and you're going to take this one on a diagonal. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to pinch the muscle right there on that diagonal, and you're going to pull away from the muscle underneath. And you can ensure that you're actually grabbing just the body fat and not the muscle by contracting your pecs underneath, because if you're grabbing the muscle itself, when you contract it, it's going to pull away. It's going to pull out from underneath. So you're left with the pinch of what you want. You grab just to the top of that like this, okay? And then you click the button here if you're using this or whatever calipers you're using, you register that mark. The next mark is, again, here in the abdomen to the left or right of your navel. Now it's about 1 inch away. You're going to grab on here in a vertical way. And the same thing, you're going to pull away, contract the abs underneath to make sure that you're getting just the muscle. And then you're going to register that mark. And then lastly, for the thigh, and again, it's actually good to lift one leg up as high as you can. You're going to activate the muscles underneath here, the rectus. So we do our pinch here, we let it settle, and we do that. So now, this came back at 4.9. Now, routinely, I'm usually in the 5 range to 6 range or so. So the most important thing is that you continue to do your own testing and that you're consistent with it. Because the one thing you want to do is you want to gauge this progress, right? If it's always you doing the measurements, then you can rely on that. Even if you're off a little bit, it's looking at the relative change between one measurement and the next. Now, if you're at home and you don't have access to this, you don't even have access to a cheap pair of calipers, there's actually an old-fashioned way to do this. I just want to show it to you because there's a tool that I'm going to put a link to below that you can actually go use and input the numbers. All you have to do is get the numbers. So what you do is you're probably best off if you had somebody that can help you with this, but they'll do the same 3 pinches. Okay, they'll come here, they'll pinch away like this, and then what they'll do is they'll measure the thickness of that pinch, because that's all the calipers are doing anyway. All the calipers are doing, they're at a 0 mark, and then when you stick something in between, they're measuring how thick the thing that you stuck in between is, and in this case it's the body fat fold. So they'll take this and then they'll measure how thick that fold is, and they'll go from there. Now let's say it was something like this, just we're gonna exaggerate a little bit. Then they would measure how thick that fold is, and you can see that's sort of like 1.5 inches or so, okay, from there to there. Now they've actually come up with some rough estimates. I wrote them down here that I could read to you. The Ellington-Darden equation basically says, this is where that pinch an inch came from, that if you can pinch 1/4 inch in a location, that you're basically looking at about 5 to 8% body fat. Now what you would do is you'd pinch and measure, pinch and measure, and pinch and measure, and then you'd add them all up together and average them, and that would give you your sort of body fat, rough body fat idea. Again, this is not an exact science here, and neither are the calipers for that matter. But they're giving you something at least you could use as a tool. 5 to 8%, 1/2 inch of pinching, 9 to 13%. 3/4 of an inch of a pinch thickness, 14 to 18% body fat. 1 inch, so if you can pinch 1 inch, 19 to 23% body fat. 1.5 inches is 24 to 27%. 2 inch pinch is 28 to 32%, and then 2.5 inches, 33% and up. So the key here again is focus on your body fat over your weight. If you're adding plenty of lean muscle, your weight's going to go up. It better, because it's a much more dense tissue, and that's what you're looking for. You're not necessarily concerned about what the body weight is on the scale. It's how you look, how you feel, and how much lean muscle you can densely pack onto your physique. So it's the body fat that's going to reveal the true picture, and you want that number to go down. Of course, different people have different goals. Some athletes might want to hover around the 10 to 14% body fat only because it's going to help them in their sport. NFL players are going to do better, a little bit more cushioning to be able to withstand, and even some MMA fighters to be able to withstand some of the impact of their sport. So one number is not always going to be good for everybody, but from an aesthetic standpoint, some guys are going to want to get lower and lower. The key is focus on that number. If you're looking for a way to get yourself down, as I said in the very beginning, the ATHLEAN-X training system is all about maximizing lean muscle and minimizing the amount of body fat that you have in your body. That's the whole goal, without having to go through these ridiculous bulking and cutting bullshit phases that I have ranted about here in the past. And if you want one other way that you can quickly scan for what you might be at right now so you know where you want to get to, I did another video, I'll link it right here, that was basically a visual scale that you can go and you can look at, can quickly compare what an example of a 13% or an 18% would look like. You can compare yourself and see where you want to go and get to. All right. So all that, guys, in that link below, I'll put them below, and also, like I said, the ATHLEAN-X training system, the fastest way to get there. You can get that at ATHLEAN-X.com. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Make sure you leave your comments and thumbs up below. This is a Washboard Wednesday because you ain't going to see your abs if you don't have a low enough body fat percentage. So let me know what else you want to see me cover on these videos, and I'll do it here once a week, every week on our channel. All right, guys. I'll see you back here soon.